Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions. Hope that you guys are all having a great end to your weekend. I wanted to make sure that we quickly break down your guys' top stocks in preparation for this up and coming week, and then kind of just talk about kind of where the NASDAQ market is as of right now. So it looks like on my side of things, my NASDAQ futures are not updating unless they are still down 1%, but I don't believe so. As of right now, this is what I'm seeing on my side. We're seeing Dow Jones down 1%, S&P 500 down 1.45%, and then NASDAQ down negative 1.76%. But it's very similar to the performance that we had on Friday, right? So what's up? Good afternoon, or I guess good night for some of you guys, especially on the East Coast. Do not forget that due to daylight savings, right, the stock market for all of us in the West Coast is now 1 hour sooner, right? At least for me in Arizona, because Arizona does not go through daylight savings. I now have the pleasure of going live 1 hour before the market, or 1 hour earlier, which is now 6:30 a.m. So very excited about that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and just jump right into it. If you want me to break down your top stock, feel free to share it in the live chat. I hope that you learned something new in this video. And if you do, please consider dropping a thumbs up and subscribing. But let's go ahead. And I figured everyone's going to be asking about SVB, right? So Silicon Valley Bank. As you guys can see, it's still halted. It's not going to really surprise you. Based off of an article that I read, it is getting purchased, right? And the FDIC, because they got taken over by the federal government, right? They are getting depositors their money, but there is a second bank that has gone under, and this is the SVB has been like the second largest bank to fail in the U.S. history, right? But there is a new bank in New York, right? Something like that. Let me double check. I was just reading about it, but they weren't as large because I believe Silicon Valley Bank had 200 billion under management. This specific company had 110 billion as of last December under management. So, it's New York Signature Bank. That is correct. So. SBNY. So SBNY, let's go ahead and check to see if this one, it should be very interesting to see, right, where this thing is at by the time the market opens tomorrow. But supposedly this has been taken over by the FDIC as well, which now makes it the third largest bank in U.S. history since 2008, right? To fail. So very unfortunate. The thing that I'm kind of paying attention to out of all of this, right, with Silicon Valley Bank, all that good stuff, is with the bailout. I want to see how, a lot of the, I was going to make a video about it. I didn't know if you guys cared enough, but based off of the different articles, based off of the deposit, the articles that I was reading, Silicon Valley Bank, right? I'm sure you guys have seen it as well. 97% of the accounts in Silicon Valley Bank all had over $250,000. And it's pretty safe to say that, again, Silicon Valley Bank was a very niche type of bank, right? It was a big bank when it came down to investing in startups, especially in Silicon Valley. So I'm interested to kind of learn more about the ripple effect, right, of how with Silicon Valley struggling, right, and being taken over by the FDIC, to see how other businesses that are dependent on Silicon Valley Bank, if they begin to fail. I think that's going to be very interesting to see because, if they can't meet payroll and or they don't have access to their funds, it's going to be a very unfortunate series of events, right? But we can talk about that at a later time. I'm sure, our Learn Plan Profit group is going to have a lot of questions, and I'm very interested to see if they're going to remove the halt from Silicon Valley Bank and actually allow it to trade, because as of right now, it is being halted. I don't think that's necessarily fair. They're doing it to protect themselves, but I would love the opportunity to short Silicon Valley Bank if they were to remove that halt, and I could make money as it sells off, right? What's up, Daniel? What's up? Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So again, a big focus this week is this up and coming CPI data report that's going to be on Tuesday, 1 hour before the market opens. So please make sure that you guys are aware of that. But AMD is being asked for me to be broken down, and that is by Mathis. We can see that we've been forming higher highs and higher lows on the day chart. Pretty easy signs of a potential reversal, but we're still getting rejected by that same resistance at around $90 a share. We have been seeing higher highs and higher lows, but again, the big question is, can we break above 90? And if not, what is my upside potential to 90 versus my downside risk? I would just be very, very careful. If this thing begins to break and trade below the moving average, I would completely just, at that point, I would no longer see it to be a bullish uptrend. It breaks below the moving average. We have a lot of downside potential from 90 all the way down to $50 a share. So please make sure that you are aware of that. What's going on, Waldo? So Tesla, please, again, if you guys want me to break down your stock, all I ask you to do is drop a thumbs up on this video and make sure that you guys subscribe, as only the people that are subscribed to the channel can participate in the live chat. So we got Tesla. Again, I'm a huge fanboy of Elon. I love Tesla. I view it as a long-term play. Let me explain this. Does it surprise me that Tesla is finally pulling on back from 200 a share? No. I mean, it was literally trading sideways for almost a month, right? It finally is pulling on back. It's testing and showing signs of a support. This week will determine if Tesla rallies or if Tesla sells off. If the inflation report that is released on Tuesday causes more selling pressure and for the market to sell off, everything tech-related, Tesla included, will follow with a sell-off. It will just add more selling pressure. So please, 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 although it has pulled back a decent amount, right? About, 15%? Let me double check. From overall highs to where we're at right now, about 19%. Just know that things can always get worse with this up-and-coming CPI data report on March 14th and the up-and-coming interest rate hike on March 21st or March 22nd. So please make sure that you guys are aware of that. So I just want to make sure that you're aware of that, because, of course, I would love to buy the dip into Tesla. I think Tesla, anything close to the $100 price range is like free money, right? But right now we're trading at 170. If market sells off, why rush into it? So I just want to make sure that you are aware of that CPI data report and how it can lead to more selling pressure. So we got, don't kill me, I'm just a vibe. So if CPI data report comes in hot on Tuesday, will the Feds have any credibility, and will it crash the market? I think it just really comes down to, if the CPI data report on Tuesday comes in hotter than expected, the market will interpret that as, just like Jerome Powell said in his discussion in Washington, D.C., is that they will do whatever they have to do if they begin to see inflation actually begin to rise versus drop. Like Jerome Powell said this, where they will be more aggressive with future interest rate hikes than expected, which means higher than expected interest rate hikes, if inflation data comes in hotter than expected. And the market will react in a negative way by a larger interest rate hike. So therefore, if we have a higher than expected inflation rate, the follow-up step is that the Federal Reserve will raise rates more. Nothing's guaranteed. I'm not going to pretend like, hey, if the inflation report does come in a little bit higher, the Federal Reserve needs to raise interest rates. I believe they will. Jerome Powell has said he will, right? That he will raise rates more if inflation data does not support that it's still cooling off. But at the end of the day, they vote for it, right? So I'm not going to pretend that it has to happen when no one knows 100%. But that's what most likely will get factored into the overall market. And this is why, right? A lot of people like to ask me, well, Ricky, are you long? Are you short? What position are you jumping into? I talked about in my video earlier today. I'm cash, right? I showed you guys my position on TQs and SQs. I have one lucky share, right? One lucky share of TQs, one lucky share of SQs. I do not have an open position trying to either make money as the market sells off or, make money as the market recovers, right? I am unbiased in the sense that I do not care. If the market sells off, I will short the market by going into SQQQ. If the market rallies, once that report comes out, because that's all I'm waiting for, is for that report to come out and for the market to react. And once the market reacts, I will go with the market. Remember, the trend is your friend, and there's no reason to overcomplicate it. I can have an opinion, and I can think that the market needs to do something, but let's be right. I'm speaking to all of you guys. How many times have we had an opinion, and maybe your opinion was supported by news and by data, but the market reacts a different way, right? At the end of it, our job is to respect market direction. That is ultimately what matters most. There's not one perfect indicator. There's one thing that always matters most, and that's market direction. And that's how I'm choosing to trade. You definitely do not have to, right? So please make sure that you are aware of that. So let's see. I'm trying to look for another stock to break down. So if you want me to break down a stock, please feel free to share it in the live chat. We got Nvidia. Nvidia, very similar to AMD. I don't know why this one would be any different. It's been very, very bullish based off of recent patterns from 108 all the way up to highs of 245. I want to remind you, again, I would just be very careful with being too aggressive with any positions early this week. We have CPI data report, but I would agree with you that, yes, it's showing great signs of a potential recovery, much better than AMD. So the main thing that I would pay attention to is, are we holding above the moving average? Anytime that it pulls back close to the moving average, perfect. That's a dip by opportunity, right? Almost every single time on the way up, right? But as soon as we begin to trade below the moving average, I'd be very, very careful. So this is on the 4-hour time frame, just for those that are asking. So Ricky, will the market have bullish or bearish sentiment over the SVB bailout? That's what I'm really interested to see. We all have access to this. You guys can all Google search it. It's all about. You guys all have access to NASDAQ futures, S&P 500 futures, Dow futures. To my understanding, Dow futures were trading higher because of the bailout. Meaning, and there it goes. So it finally did update, and we can see NASDAQ futures are in the green. And please check this on your side. And this is why I love reminding you guys, because I want you guys to be dependent on your own. I don't want you to be relying on me or anyone else. You should be aware of this. Right now, NASDAQ futures are open. Right now, S&P 500 futures are open. And it looks like because of that bailout, the market is gapping up. This is huge because this is a 1.2% move up, meaning that if the market were to open right now, TQQQ would be up 3 times that, 3.6%. That's huge, right? And so when people ask, Ricky, why didn't you hold your short position, right, on SQQQ? I can show you here. I have my one lucky share. It's because I was very uncertain. I made a lot of money on Friday. I made 27.5K. I didn't want to be greedy. I sold early, and I know that market could always change. Market direction can always change on a whim. So, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So, as of right now, so what do I plan to trade tomorrow? As of right now, it looks like it's going to be a bullish day. If this continues, look at this. This is where we closed out on Friday. This is where we're at right now. NASDAQ futures are up, and we're back above 12,000 for NASDAQ futures. This is huge. This is really, really huge. So I'm excited. I love to see that the market is trying to go up, but remember, don't put yourself in a bad position on Monday thinking something has to happen. And then on Tuesday, when the CPI data report comes out, what if it gives it all back? I'm just reminding you, don't get ahead of yourself. Understand the big picture, okay? All righty. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. If you want me to break down a stock, all I ask you to do is to drop a thumbs up on the video, on the live stream, and feel free to share it in the live chat. Only people that are subscribed to the channel can participate in the live chat. And here we go. We got Ray with the ticker call out format. Ray Blackwell, I appreciate that, man. So we got ticker symbol CI. Let's go ahead and break that down. So we got CI over here. So we got Cigna Group. So I'm not the biggest fan of this current direction, right? I really like how it was trading up until 2023. But we can see, and again, I don't know if you would agree, right? But we can see that we're forming higher highs and higher lows. I can tell right away with how the candles are. It has pretty low volume, right? Yeah. So on the 1 minute time frame, you can kind of see the broken candles because there's no movement of range. So I'd be very careful with that. But overall, on the day chart, based off of recent patterns, we've been on a pretty decent decline. 4 hour time frame, lower highs, lower lows. So the idea is yes, it is cheap, but just think about like Carvana. The cheap can always get cheaper, right? And it can easily continue to sell off. So Ray, instead of trying to find the bottom of a company, just set alerts. Learn to be effective with alerts. This is something that we always try to remind our Learn Plan Profit traders that are just getting started, is to learn the importance of keeping trading simple. Don't be hopeful, but be effective, right? I would rather be someone that is late to a rally versus early to a sell-off. Very simple concept. How many times have you bought in the dip and it continues to dip? How much more effective would you feel with your time if you enter when it's already beginning to indicate signs of an uptrend? Do you get what I mean? All right. So as of right now, I would set an alert for the break above the moving average right around $300. If this thing actually begins to indicate signs of an uptrend, remember, I would rather be late to an uptrend than early to a sell-off. And it can save you a lot of bad trades. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So we got FSLR. Let's go ahead and break that one down. FSLR. So we got First Solar, huge gap up. What's going on here? So higher highs, higher lows. That's on the 4 hour time frame. On the day chart, very, very bullish stock. I don't think we've broken this one down in quite some time. It looks very overbought in my opinion, but it's been consolidating up here so long that it's already built a MACD divergence. RSI has already pulled back. That's actually really impressive. If this thing breaks below the EMA, I can easily see this thing pull back to the moving average, and based off of recent patterns, anytime that it pulls back, it sometimes trades below the moving average. So if you're looking for an ideal entry, this would be your ideal entry, right? Because there's a lot of money to be made when it recovers, and it looks like it does recover quite often. So patterns tend to repeat themselves. They don't always have to, but I would like, there to be decent opportunity, and I would wait for this thing to maybe pull on back a little bit closer to the moving average to at least have some upside potential to work with. This is so overbought that I don't know if the risk to reward ratios would be met, right? So Rivian has not found a bottom. Let's go ahead and break that one down. I saw a lot of people asking me to break down Rivian stock. But yeah, Rivian stock, again, is a great example of a stock that continues to get cheaper, right? From overall highs of $179 a share to lows of $14. Imagine that. I mean, this has to be over, a 90% loss? Yep, 92% loss. The cheap can always get cheaper. And it's great that maybe you're paying attention to it, right? You can set alerts. You can really watch it, because if it does begin to recover, then great. It can be a very lucrative stock if it actually begins to do well. But as of right now, I'm not sold on it, right? Its performance speaks for itself. It's not about a, but I think, or but I hope for, no, it's not, right? It's trading below the moving average. It's making lower lows and lower highs, and it's a bearish stock. This is a perfect example of a stock that you put money in to lose, right? If we focus on one thing, and that's market direction, then this market direction is exactly going against us. This is something that if you want to lose money, you get into, right? Because it's not making anyone money on the way down, unless you're shorting the stock, right? Big difference. But as of right now, I'd be very careful. Set your alert. If this thing actually begins to show signs of higher highs and higher lows, then great. But until then, I wouldn't worry about it. So sold my Nvidia last week. Now Intel. INTC is Intel, right? So, okay, Intel is a little bit more on the oversold side, some reversal potential. I'm not sold on the idea of Intel. I like I see why you sold Nvidia, right? Because Nvidia is a little bit more on the overbought side, but Nvidia is strong. Nvidia is an active uptrend. Intel, in my opinion, has been struggling ever since Nvidia and AMD have entered the marketplace, right? Lower lows, lower highs. There's a lot of consolidation here, but has not been able to break above $30 a share. Anytime that it comes close to that or the moving average, rejected. I mean, and back here, we're talking about early 2022, right? So you're waiting for something to happen that hasn't happened in over a year. Not that it can't, just that it has not, right? So please just be aware of that. Be mindful of that position size. I want you to make money. I do not want you to enter a hopeful position and then you end up getting burned. So just my opinion on that. So ACVA, what's going on, Lenny Santiago? AVCA, I appreciate you taking time. ACVA, I appreciate you taking time and posting that in the ticker call out format. Hopefully I earn your thumbs up on this video. But on the 4-hour time frame, we are seeing higher highs, higher lows, super low volume. I can see by the broken candles already. Very overbought. And it looks like it's been on a recent uptrend. It hasn't always been uptrending. So if you're going in for something that based off of recent patterns, it's been showing signs of higher highs and higher lows, then great. I would also just, again, keep in mind its overall direction has been very bearish. So if now something is getting factored in that it has, this is ACV Auctions. Actually, I'm very familiar with this. They use it for, some of you guys might know, but I'm just the investor behind the Karsten and Moore used car dealership, right? They have one location here in Mesa and then 2 locations in Arkansas. So I was just the investor behind it. And they use ACV Auctions. It's a huge marketplace. But just like Carvana, right, it just got ripped shortly after 2021. It made lower lows, lower highs. It's selling off. And it looks like it's finally beginning to recover from $6. It's now doubled to $12. But as of right now, I think it's a little bit too early to tell, right? So I would just be mindful because of previous descending patterns. I just want to make sure that you're very careful. If this thing begins to trade below the moving average, I would get out, right? You don't want to go into or continue to hold a position that continues to make lower lows and lower highs. But obviously, huge upside potential if it continues to rally. So thank you. Thank you again for allowing me to break that one down for you. Let's go ahead and do 2 more stocks, and then we'll call it a Sunday stock talk. How does that sound? PFE. So we're going to do Pfizer. What's going on, Joe? What's up? So Pfizer, super oversold. I like it that you're calling it out when it's oversold. Obviously, it's super bearish. There's no indication of a reversal. It's not trading above the moving average, but it's a stock to watch. It's a stock to pay attention to, not a stock, in my opinion, to buy right now. It's too bearish. It's losing too much money too consistently. And although it's a potential opportunity for something to follow up with, right? Because if this thing does recover, huge upside potential, right? But it's just not there yet, right? Based off of recent patterns, remember, I would rather be late to a rally, and I would rather make a better habit of that. I'd rather be late to a rally and an uptrend than early to a sell-off. It's very oversold. I completely agree with you. It's just too bearish, and it's too consistent in how it's selling off that I wouldn't overcomplicate it. So I appreciate you allowing me to break this one down as well. Let's go ahead and move on to the last one. So what is the last stock that we're going to break down? Again, if you want me to break down your top stock, drop a thumbs up, get this video to over 500 likes, and let's break that top stock down for you. So let's see, we're at 277 likes. I'm going to need a couple of you guys to drop a thumbs up. It's free. It's free to drop a thumbs up. I thought you guys liked these Sunday stock talks. We have over 1,000 of you guys here, and you guys can't drop a thumbs up. I'm offended. The nerve, right? Here we go. Alrighty. There we go, 327. All right, there it goes, 350. Let's see if we could hit 500. There it goes, almost 400. Alrighty, well, I appreciate that. You guys just doubled the likes in just a little bit. So I hope that you're at least enjoying the stream. And again, if you guys have any questions after we close this live, you guys can always send me a direct message either via Discord or via Instagram, and that's the first or third link in the description down below. I just want to make sure that you are aware of that. So let's go ahead and break this down. So we got FRC. Let's see what that looks like. FRC. Let's see if this one's any good. I'm going to break down another stock. Don't worry. I don't like this one. It was very bullish. Lower highs, lower lows. It looks like it's another San Francisco bank. So First Republic, I think I did hear about this. Huge sell-off as well. I don't care enough about these. I mean, it hasn't even been performing well, and there's a reason why some of these are getting so diluted, right? They're overly leveraged. They had very bad investment positions, just like Silicon Valley Bank. And it's just not something that, especially if they continue to halt these, they don't even allow us to make money as they sell off. So it's very unfortunate for those that prefer to short sell, right? Let's go ahead and break down Netflix. Let's see if Netflix is doing any better. So I know Netflix was showing signs of a support. So at 162, hit highs of 360, has pulled on back to lows of nearly, right, of 290. Okay, so Netflix, I would say, is something just like Pfizer, right? It's become oversold enough that we see some upside potential if it finds a support. Let's calculate how much that upside potential is based off of recent patterns. And it looks like my little trend line tool isn't wanting to work right now. Jesus, come on. No, it's not working. But from overall lows of 300 to highs of 380, what are we looking at there? We're looking at like 25%, something like that, 25, nearly 30% on that position. So, and that's based off of recent resistance levels. I mean, obviously Netflix has huge upside. If you believe in Netflix and its potential recovery in the marketplace, just know that Netflix has really been struggling, especially as Disney, Amazon Prime, HBO Max have all entered the marketplace. There's a lot of competition. Obviously Netflix is an OG, but just because you're an OG doesn't mean that you have to do any good, right? As of right now, in the 1 hour time frame, getting rejected by that moving average, lower lows, lower highs, big reversal opportunity, right? It's a big dip buy opportunity if it begins to recover. So if you're asking Ricky, well, what does that even freaking look like? Let me explain. When it sells off, let it bleed. The more it sells off, the cheaper you can get it for. Beautiful, right? It begins to show signs of a support. Once we break above that EMA, then, right, break above that EMA, break above that moving average, that is when that beautiful uptrend follows. If you're part of my Learn Plan Profit group, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The 3 stages of a reversal. We talk about it in the course, both for going long and for short selling. Your job is not to be perfect. Your job is to, right, implement progress. So if you're trying to do something you've never done, and that's to be profitable, then begin to make sure that your actions, reflect someone that's trying to make money. Don't hope for this. Don't buy and then hope for it to recover. Wait for it to recover, right? Very, very simple words. But I would love to follow up with Netflix. And if it actually begins to recover, I wouldn't even mind being invested in it as long as it begins to show signs of steady growth, something that I'll have to follow up with. But again, you guys know the deal. CPI data report this Tuesday, 1 hour before the market opens. That means that if I go live, it's going to be at 5:30 in the morning when this CPI data report is going to be released, and that is Arizona time. Today is daylight savings. I can't say I'm excited for it. I know for one thing, I'm not going to be going on morning runs anymore. I'm not trying to run at 5 in the morning. So I appreciate you guys taking time and joining me for this Sunday Stock Talk. Again, I do trade live every single morning with my Learn Plan Profit group. If you want the ability to work with me on a closer basis, I offer one thing and one thing only, and it's my Learn Plan Profit group, especially if you're getting into trading and you're tired of guessing and you actually want to start learning. You can actually watch me trade live every single morning. And I do this exclusively for my Learn Plan Profit group. You can see my entries, you can see my exits, but most importantly, you can hear my thought process behind every trade, right? In a world full of problems, learn to be a problem solver. And it looks like my camera just got exhausted, so my camera just turned off. But yeah, it's my Learn Plan Profit group. You get access to our A to Z video lesson library that's designed for complete beginners, our daily live trading sessions, our private group chat, and access to the TechBuds HQ. It's all included, and on top of that, for every new person that signs up for Learn Plan Profit 2.0 right now, you earn 5,000 automatic entries for the GTR giveaway or $50,000 cash. So by clicking the second link down below, yes, you get access to this. You get access to being able to watch me trade live every single day. And then you also get entered for the GTR giveaway 5,000 times, right? So do you need to sign up for Learn Plan Profit 2.0? Definitely not. You do not. I mean, you can learn how to do all of this all on your own. No question about it. I learned how to trade on my own. I have a very simple question for you. Do you learn better when you can actually watch someone do what they do every single day? Could that condense the time that it will take for you to learn how to trade? Or if you try to figure it out on your own, how much money will you lose, and how much longer will it take for you to actually begin to pick this up, right? Very simple question. So if you want to learn more about this and you want to be able to watch me trade live as soon as tomorrow, right? If you're interested, second link in the description down below. It's a one-time payment, lifetime access, and of course, it is not for free. I value my time. I work with one team and one team only, and that is my Learn Plan Profit group. And of course, you get entered 5,000 times for a chance to win the 2019 Nissan GTR. So really do appreciate you guys' time. For all of our LPP traders, I'll see you tomorrow at Market Open. Set those alarms, get some sleep, and especially for all of those in the West Coast, say goodbye to that extra hour of sleep because we're going to have to give it back. Another way that you can enter the GTR giveaway is, again, you can head on over to shoptechbuds.com, and for every $1 that you spend on the site, it equals 5 entries. So if you wanted to pick up some trading mouse pads, some trading apparel, anything from wall art, literally everything gets you automatically entered for a chance to win the Nissan GTR. So if you want to learn more about this, click the fourth link in the description down below. And yes, I am using the Webull trading application. It is free for everyone in the US, and you can click the fifth link in the description down below. I appreciate your time. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.